And this just in, to Fox, on the heels of the Ferguson grand jury decision and the violence and demonstrations that followed, President Obama will meet with members of his cabinet tomorrow to discuss the actions the administration is taking. And the Fox News political insiders are here to talk about that and more. Pat Caddell, he is a former pollster for President Jimmy Carter and Fox News contributor Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Bill Clinton and a Fox News contributor as well, and Brad Blakeman, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush, in for John LeBoutelier. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure. I know, but I feel lonely. I'm in here by myself. You guys are normally in here. So first of all, we're going to tackle Ferguson and lack of leadership, or what you think that political leaders should be doing. You just heard the news that just came in, and the president will meet with his cabinet tomorrow regarding this. Pat, I'll start with you.
Well, I think that, I'm glad he's meeting with his cabinet. I think it's a little late. I mean, the president, has really neglected what many of us hoped he would do when he was elected president, being the first African-American or half-black, half-white president we've had, which is really to help the community, help bring us together in race. And I think today, when I watch Professor Charles Ogletree and Ben Carson agreeing that he had done more to divide America than it was the day he was elected, I think that was telling.
Well, Doug, we do have some additional information. I'm just going to read it here that's just coming in. Following the cabinet meeting, apparently, the president will meet with young civil rights leaders to discuss their efforts, broader challenges that we still face as a nation, including the mistrust between law enforcement and communities of color. Doug, what do you think about the president doing that tomorrow?
Well, look, like Pat, I'm pleased he's doing it. Certainly there is distrust of law enforcement. Certainly there's a disproportionate amount, as the president said, in the African-American community. Heather, but that being said, what is missing here are efforts at reconciliation and the larger issue of poverty in America, and helping those with stagnant wages, particularly African Americans and Hispanics, who are disproportionately impacted, develop an agenda so that people are able to break the cycle of crime and poverty and violence that afflicts our nation. And candidly, I think what's been missing on all sides is any effort to talk about the real large-scale issues we face as a society that go well beyond issues of racial sensitivity, which are important in and of themselves, rest assured.
And Brad, your thoughts?
I think Doug is right. I think that the core issue facing minority communities today is the fact that they feel that they've been left out, especially by a president they put such hope in, that he would change their condition. Minorities are suffering in joblessness twice the national average. Now, making a civil rights issue out of Ferguson, I think, is misplaced, because there's not one scintilla evidence that this was a racially motivated crime. Yet the president has elevated this to that. And I think that's where the danger is making the Ferguson crime a racial crime when there's no evidence to suggest that it was. Now, having said that, it is a good idea. Anytime a president can galvanize forces to root out racism is a good idea, but not using Ferguson as the incident that sparked this national dialogue.
All right, well, we're going to move on to another topic.